Chapter 1. Control your reactions instead of explaining every feeling openly. When you want to live a life of strength and success, you have to understand something very important about yourself. It is not what happens to you that shapes your future. It is how you respond to it. The world is full of noise, full of opinions, full of criticism, full of praise, full of distractions, full of situations that push your emotions in every direction. Every day, you encounter moments that test your patience, your self-control, and your character. And in those moments, you have a choice. You can react quickly, emotionally, and give away your power, or you can stay calm, hold your ground, and remain in control of yourself. The silent habit of controlling your reactions is one of the most powerful tools highly successful people practice. Think about how most people live. Someone insults them, and they rush to defend themselves. Someone disagrees with them, and they argue for hours to prove they are right. Someone questions their decisions, and they feel the need to explain every reason behind what they did. This constant need to explain and defend eats away at their peace, wastes their time, and leaves them drained. Highly successful people don't live this way. They don't explain every feeling they have. They don't rush into every argument. They don't allow themselves to get pulled into emotional traps. Instead, they silently control their reactions. That control gives them an edge that most people never develop. You have probably experienced the stress of over-explaining yourself. Imagine a time when you felt misunderstood, and instead of leaving it alone, you kept talking, kept clarifying, kept defending. The more you explained, the less satisfied the other person was, and the more frustrated you became. That is what happens when emotions take control. But think of how strong you feel in the times you stayed silent. You knew your truth, you understood your direction, and you didn't feel the need to prove it to anyone. That silence wasn't weakness. It was power. Success is not only about what you achieve outwardly, it's also about the discipline you build inwardly. The discipline of controlling your reactions is built step by step. It starts when you teach yourself not to react instantly. When someone pushes you, you pause. When someone criticizes you, you breathe. When someone tries to make you angry, you resist the trap. This pause is where your power begins. It is in that pause that you gain the ability to respond with clarity instead of emotion. You can feel it in your body. When someone says something that triggers you, your heart rate rises, your chest tightens, your voice wants to rush out. In that moment, you have to notice it. You have to remind yourself, this is my test. Do I lose my power here, or do I stay in control? Successful people master this moment. They know that if they can control their reaction, they can control the direction of their life. Why do successful people avoid explaining every feeling? Because they know that not everyone deserves access to their inner world. Your emotions are private. They are signals for you, not for everyone else. If you share them too freely, you give others the power to manipulate you. But if you hold them close and learn from them yourself, you stay strong. This doesn't mean you never communicate. It means you communicate with purpose, not with desperation. Imagine a leader in a company who faces criticism. If he reacts emotionally every time, the team loses respect for him. But if he stays calm, listens, and responds only with what matters, the team sees strength. The same is true in your life. When your family, friends, or colleagues push your buttons, they are watching how you respond. If you control yourself, you show strength. If you lose control, you show weakness. Now think about energy. Every time you over-explain, you spend energy. You burn mental fuel. You waste hours in arguments that could have been solved in minutes. You walk away tired, upset, and weaker than before. But when you control your reactions, you save that energy. You can put it into your goals, your work, your health, your growth. Successful people protect their energy like it's gold. And one way they protect it is by staying silent when silence is stronger than words. This habit also builds respect. People notice when you don't react like everyone else. They notice when you don't explain yourself every time. They notice that you stay calm under pressure. And they begin to trust you more. They see you as grounded, strong, and reliable. Respect is not earned by speaking more, it is earned by being in control. You can practice this habit every day. Start with small moments. When someone cuts you off in traffic, instead of yelling, breathe and move on. When someone posts something online that annoys you, resist the urge to comment. When someone in your life challenges you, instead of explaining your every thought, stay calm and choose your words carefully. Over time, this practice becomes who you are. You become someone who is not controlled by the outside world, but by your inner strength. Think about the difference this will make in your future. In your career, when others panic, you stay calm. In your relationships, when others fight, you hold peace. In your personal growth, when others waste time defending themselves, you use that time to build yourself. That is how silent habits create visible success. There is also a deeper psychology here. When you control your reactions, you train your brain to delay gratification. You teach yourself to value long-term peace over short-term release. This is the same discipline you need to save money instead of spending it, to exercise instead of staying in bed, to read a book instead of wasting hours scrolling. It's all connected. If you can control your emotions in conversation, you can control your decisions in life. Now let's get real. Controlling your reactions doesn't mean you suppress your emotions forever. It means you process them in the right place and the right time. You can write them down in a journal. You can talk about them with someone you truly trust. You can work through them in private. But you don't throw them into every situation. You don't explain every feeling to people who don't need to hear it. You don't weaken yourself by showing your cards too early. You keep your center strong, and you choose where to express yourself. This is not always easy. At first, you might feel uncomfortable holding back. You might feel the urge to explain. But with practice, you'll notice the power it gives you. You'll notice how much more peace you feel. You'll notice how much more respect you receive. You'll notice how much more time and energy you have for your real goals. Think about the people you admire most. They are not the ones who argue endlessly. They are not the ones who explain themselves in every detail. They are the ones who stay calm, focused, and disciplined under pressure. They are the ones who control their reactions. That is why they are trusted, followed, and remembered. If you want to build a life of success, you have to build this silent habit. Train yourself daily. Practice awareness of your emotions. Pause before you speak. Choose silence when silence is stronger. Save your explanations for when they are truly needed. This habit may not make noise, but it creates strength inside you. Every time you control your reaction, you take another step toward mastery of yourself. And mastering yourself is the foundation of mastering your future. Success doesn't come to the one who reacts fastest. It comes to the one who stays grounded, who chooses wisely, who uses silence as a shield and calmness as a strength. That person is rare, that person is respected, that person becomes highly successful. So remember, you don't have to explain every feeling. You don't have to prove your emotions to anyone. Control your reactions, protect your peace, keep your strength. This silent habit will separate you from the majority. It will give you focus, energy, respect, and freedom, and it will quietly build the life of success you deserve. Chapter 2. Work on your dreams quietly without seeking early applause. When you decide to chase a dream, you have to understand that the early stages will be the quietest. This is the part most people do not like, because it comes without recognition, without applause, without anyone clapping for you. You might even feel invisible, but that quiet period is where the real foundation is built. Highly successful people know this, and that is why they don't rush to show the world what they're working on. They keep their head down, they put in the hours, and they move forward without asking for validation. The danger of chasing early applause is that it gives you a false sense of progress. When you share your dream too soon and people cheer for you, your mind may feel as if you've already achieved something. That small hit of recognition can trick you into slowing down, because it feels rewarding in the moment. But applause without results is empty. It cannot build a business, it cannot create mastery, and it cannot take you to success. The only thing that does is consistent, quiet effort over time. Think about the psychology behind this. Human beings crave acceptance. We want people to recognize us, to say we are doing well, to admire our steps. But the truth is, most people do not actually care about your dream in the way you think. Some may support you, some may criticize you, and some may ignore you altogether. If you tie your motivation to their reaction, you will become unstable. You will feel high when they approve, and you will feel low when they don't. That is no way to build a lasting dream. Successful people detach from applause. They anchor themselves in discipline and progress, not in external praise. Working quietly on your dream allows you to stay focused on the process. You don't waste energy explaining your plans to everyone. You don't burn yourself out defending your choices. You don't get caught up in whether people think you're doing the right thing. You just move forward, step by step, while others are distracted by talking. There is a deep power in silence. When you don't announce every detail, you protect your energy. You keep your vision safe from negativity, and you avoid the noise that pulls most people off track. You know the feeling of starting something new. At first, you're excited. You want to tell your friends, your family, your colleagues. You want them to notice your effort and cheer for you. But what happens? Some may laugh at the size of your dream. Some may doubt you. Some may encourage you for a week and then forget. That roller coaster of reactions can discourage you if you depend on it. Instead, you must keep your dream inside and let your progress speak for itself. When your work begins to produce results, the same people who doubted you will notice. But by then, you will no longer be chasing their applause. You will be too focused on growing even more. This is why so many people never finish what they start. They chase quick recognition instead of long-term progress. They want to be seen as successful before they have built success. They want likes, comments, and attention, but they don't want to live through the quiet, unseen hours of hard work. Success, however, is earned in those hours nobody sees. The long nights, the early mornings, the repetition, the practice, the failures corrected in silence, those are the moments that create extraordinary results. If you want to live this principle, you need to train yourself to enjoy the process more than the attention. Feel good about finishing a task, even if no one notices. Take pride in learning a new skill, even if no one compliments you. Celebrate quietly when you save money, when you improve your health, when you gain knowledge. Build a habit of feeling satisfied within yourself, instead of looking outward. This self-satisfaction becomes your fuel. It keeps you moving when nobody else is watching. The truth is, applause is temporary. People cheer today and forget tomorrow. What remains is your discipline, your skills, and your results. When you put your head down and keep working, you develop a level of consistency that others cannot compete with. While they are distracted by sharing every step, you are moving forward. While they seek validation, you are building real results. By the time the world notices, your foundation is already strong. Think about how powerful that makes you. You no longer depend on the mood of others. You no longer need permission to dream. You no longer stop because someone doubts you. You work in silence. You build in silence. And when the results come, they speak louder than applause ever could. This gives you an unshakable confidence, because you know your strength is real. Consider the emotional difference between someone who works for applause and someone who works for progress. The first person feels good only when they are seen. They post their goals online. They share every small win. They need constant feedback. When they don't get it, they feel discouraged. The second person feels good because they know they are getting better every day. They measure themselves against yesterday, not against other people. They build habits. They track progress. They focus on growth. That person develops inner stability. That person cannot be shaken by silence. One of the greatest advantages of working quietly is that you reduce pressure. When you announce your dreams to the world too soon, you put yourself under unnecessary stress. Now people are watching, waiting, asking questions, sometimes even hoping you fail. That pressure can drain your motivation, but when you keep it quiet, you remove that weight. You give yourself space to make mistakes, to learn, to adjust. You build in private until you are strong enough to show results. There is also a psychological freedom in keeping your dreams quiet. You don't have to explain your every move. You don't have to justify your timeline. You don't have to rush to prove anything. You simply do the work. And when you do the work consistently, day after day, results become inevitable. The habit of quiet work is also about humility. Success is not built by shouting your intentions. It is built by proving them. If you want to change your life, you have to stop needing recognition at the start. Recognition will come later, when your actions have produced something real. But at the beginning, what you need most is discipline. This is why you must practice patience. Dreams don't grow in a week. They grow through months and years of effort. If you seek applause too early, you will become impatient. You will feel as if progress is too slow because you want quick approval. But if you accept the quiet season as necessary, you stay calm. You trust the process. You understand that every small step you take, even if unseen, is moving you closer to your dream. Ask yourself this: do you want to be admired for talking about a dream, or respected for building one? The first path is easy but empty. The second path is harder but fulfilling. Highly successful people always choose the second. They don't mind if no one knows what they're working on. They don't mind if the world ignores them in the beginning. They are too busy improving, too busy building, too busy moving forward. That is why they eventually stand out. Think about the emotional reward of surprising people with results. When you finally reveal what you've been building, the impact is stronger because no one expected it. That surprise creates respect. People realize you weren't just talking, you were working. And the truth is, people admire action more than talk. They may not clap for you at the start, but they cannot ignore you when the results are undeniable. Your dream is fragile in the beginning. Protect it with silence. Work on it with discipline. Don't seek applause too early, because applause can weaken your drive. Keep your focus on progress, on growth, on becoming better every day. The quiet effort will transform you. It will make you stronger, more consistent, more resilient. And when the time comes, the success you built will speak louder than any words ever could. If you want to be highly successful, embrace this silent habit. Work on your dreams quietly. Stay away from the need for quick recognition. Build your foundation in silence. Let your results be the voice that speaks for you. That is how you create lasting success. That is how you rise above the crowd. And that is how you live a life of true achievement. Chapter 3. Observe patterns in people's behavior to guide your decisions. Success in life is not just about how hard you work. It is also how wisely you decide. The people around you are constantly showing you who they are through their actions. If you pay close attention, you will notice patterns that repeat. The way someone treats time, the way they handle responsibility, the way they speak when no one is watching, all of these are signals. Highly successful people train themselves to observe these patterns and use them as a guide for making better decisions. They don't ignore what is right in front of them. They use human behavior as one of the most reliable tools for judgment. Most people look at words, they listen to promises, they believe explanations, they get carried away by charm. But words can deceive. Patterns of behavior do not lie. If someone repeatedly shows up late, that is their standard. If someone avoids responsibility every time, that is who they are. If someone complains more than they act, that is a habit. By learning to watch patterns instead of falling for excuses, you give yourself an advantage. You can protect yourself from disappointment, and you can align yourself with people who truly add value. You have seen this in your own life. Think about someone who promised to change, but didn't. At first, you believed their words. But after the 5th or 6th time, you realized the truth. Their pattern was stronger than their promise. Successful people don't wait until the 5th or 6th time. They notice the pattern early and adjust accordingly. This saves them years of wasted energy and painful mistakes. Observing patterns is not about judging people harshly. It is about understanding reality. Human beings are creatures of habit. What they do consistently is more important than what they do occasionally. A single kind act may be nice, but if the overall pattern is selfishness, then that is who they are. On the other hand, a single mistake doesn't define a person if their overall pattern is reliability and consistency. When you learn to step back and study the bigger picture, you see people more clearly. This habit requires patience. You cannot judge from one interaction. You have to give yourself time to watch. Pay attention to how someone acts in different settings. How do they handle stress? How do they treat those who cannot benefit them? How do they behave when they are tired, when they are under pressure, when they believe no one is looking? These are the situations where true patterns appear. Successful people are like students of human behavior. They watch quietly, they gather evidence. They form their decisions based on repeated actions, not isolated moments. Think of how this applies in business. If you are hiring someone, you don't just listen to what they say in an interview. You check their history. You look at their track record. You ask about their reliability. Why? Because past behavior is often the strongest indicator of future behavior. This principle applies everywhere. In friendships, in relationships, in partnerships, in teamwork. Watching patterns will save you from misplaced trust and poor choices. There is also a deeper psychological benefit to this habit. When you observe patterns, you train yourself to slow down. You don't rush into decisions blindly. You build the ability to pause, reflect, and weigh evidence. This discipline helps you in every area of life. It teaches you to respond thoughtfully, instead of impulsively. It makes your choices stronger, because they are based on observation, not just emotion. Look closely at people's financial habits. If someone always spends more than they earn, that is a pattern. If someone consistently avoids planning, that is a pattern. If someone prioritizes growth and invests in themselves regularly, that too is a pattern. These signals tell you where someone is headed. By paying attention, you learn who to trust with your time, your money, and your energy. Ignoring these signals often leads to regret. One mistake many people make is assuming that good intentions are enough. They say, "He didn't mean it that way," or "She's trying to do better." But intentions without patterns of action are empty. Success requires results, not just wishes. If you surround yourself with people who only have intentions but no consistent behavior to back it up, you will slow down your own growth. Successful people separate words from patterns. They respect action more than promises. There is a quiet confidence that comes when you understand patterns. You no longer feel lost when people behave inconsistently. You don't get shocked when someone fails to follow through, because you saw the signs early. This doesn't make you cold or unkind. It makes you wise. You still give people space to grow, but you don't build your decisions on hope alone. You base them on evidence. That is maturity. You can also apply this principle inward. Observe your own patterns. What do you do when you are stressed? How do you spend your mornings? What choices repeat daily without you noticing? These are shaping your future whether you realize it or not. If you always procrastinate, that is a pattern that steals from your potential. If you always choose comfort over effort, that is a pattern that holds you back. But if you build patterns of learning, discipline, and persistence, those will carry you forward even when motivation is low. Successful people study their own habits as carefully as they study others. They correct what weakens them, and they reinforce what strengthens them. Imagine how much more powerful your life becomes when you combine self-awareness with awareness of others. You know your weaknesses, you build better habits, and at the same time, you choose to surround yourself with people whose patterns align with growth. This creates an environment where progress becomes natural. You don't have to fight against resistance every day. You move forward with people who lift you, not drain you. Pay attention to small details. Notice how often someone keeps their word. Notice how they treat commitments. Notice how they react when things go wrong. Notice how they behave when success comes their way. Patterns reveal character in ways that speeches never can. If you study long enough, you can predict outcomes with surprising accuracy. That doesn't mean you become cynical. It means you become prepared. There is freedom in knowing that people will often repeat themselves. You don't have to be caught off guard again and again. If someone always creates drama, don't expect peace. If someone always avoids responsibility, don't expect leadership. If someone always supports you, don't doubt their loyalty. By recognizing patterns, You remove confusion from your relationships and decisions. One of the most important things to understand is that you cannot change someone's patterns unless they want to change themselves. Many people waste years trying to fix others, believing that if they just love enough, support enough, or forgive enough, the person will improve. But patterns show reality. Until a person chooses to break their own cycle, they will keep repeating it. Successful people don't get trapped in the illusion of potential. They deal with what is real. In your journey, you will face choices about who to trust, who to work with, and who to let into your life. Those choices will determine how fast you grow. If you surround yourself with people whose patterns are weak, unreliable, or destructive, your path will be harder. If you surround yourself with people whose patterns are disciplined, reliable, and strong, your journey will be smoother. This is not about perfection. It is about consistency. You don't need perfect people around you. You need people who have built patterns that align with growth. Take this principle seriously, because it is one of the silent habits that separate success from struggle. The crowd reacts to charm, to words, to promises. The few who succeed react to evidence, to repeated actions, to visible patterns. This habit protects them from false trust and wasted years. It guides them toward stronger partnerships and wiser decisions. The more you practice it, the sharper your instincts will become. At first you may overlook signs, but as you train yourself, you will notice them earlier. You will begin to trust what you see more than what you hear, and with that, you will save yourself countless disappointments. You will avoid the traps that pull most people down. You will build a path with clarity, strength, and wisdom. Your life is shaped by decisions. Every decision is influenced by the people you listen to, the people you trust, the people you allow near. By observing patterns, you give yourself the power to choose wisely. You protect your dream, your peace, and your progress. And over time, this habit becomes part of who you are. You walk into every situation with calm awareness. You don't rush. You don't get fooled. You don't waste energy. You simply watch, learn, and decide with strength. This is the way highly successful people move. They don't get carried away by appearances. They don't depend on empty words. They study patterns. They make clear choices, and they keep building forward. If you build this habit, you will notice a transformation. Your life will feel more stable. Your confidence will grow. Your results will come faster, because you are no longer slowed down by poor judgment. Success is not just about hard work. It is also about wise choices, and wise choices are built on careful observation. Start today. Watch people. Watch yourself. Notice the pattern. Let those patterns guide you. This silent habit will protect your energy, sharpen your judgment, and move you closer to the life you want. Chapter 4. Save your energy by avoiding meaningless conversations daily. If you want to live a stronger life, one of the most important disciplines you can build is protecting your energy. Every single day, you have a limited amount of mental focus, emotional strength, and physical drive. The mistake many people make is wasting that precious energy on conversations that do not matter. They talk for hours about topics that bring no growth, no direction, no improvement. At the end of the day, they feel drained, yet nothing in their life has moved forward. Highly successful people understand this trap, and that is why they avoid meaningless conversations every single day. Meaningless conversations take many forms. It could be gossip about people who are not even in the room. It could be arguments about things that nobody can change. It could be debates on topics that do not affect your life in any way. It could even be endless small talk that goes nowhere. These conversations may feel harmless in the moment, but they chip away at your focus. They consume the energy you could have used for your work, your learning, or your growth. You may not notice it immediately, but over weeks and months, the cost becomes enormous. Think about how you feel after being pulled into a shallow discussion. Maybe someone at work spends 30 minutes complaining about others. Maybe a friend calls and talks for an hour about issues that repeat every week without change. When the conversation ends, how do you feel? Tired, empty, sometimes even frustrated. That is your body and mind telling you that your energy has been wasted. Now imagine if you let this happen every single day. That constant drain will slowly kill your ambition, Successful people choose differently. They protect their energy the way they protect their time. They know they cannot afford to give it away to every conversation. When they notice a discussion turning meaningless, they remove themselves politely but firmly. They do not let guilt or pressure force them to stay. They have learned that saying no to unproductive talk is saying yes to progress. This habit requires awareness. You have to train yourself to recognize which conversations are valuable and which are not. Valuable conversations are those that build knowledge, strengthen relationships, solve problems, or inspire growth. Meaningless conversations are those that revolve around blame, gossip, envy, or repetition without resolution. If you begin to observe carefully, you will quickly see the difference. There is also psychology behind why meaningless conversations drain so much. They often revolve around negativity. When people gossip or complain, they are passing emotional weight onto you. They are transferring their frustration, their insecurity, their boredom. If you absorb it, you carry that burden even after the conversation ends. This is why you feel heavy and restless after engaging in them. But when you choose conversations of value, you walk away feeling lighter, stronger, and inspired. Think of how this plays out in daily life. A colleague invites you to join in criticizing another coworker. If you join, you may laugh for a moment, but deep down you know you have wasted your time and lowered your standard. Or a family member brings up the same argument again and again without any solution. If you engage, the cycle repeats and nothing improves. Successful people know better. They learn to end such cycles by refusing to add fuel. Instead, they steer conversations towards something constructive, or they walk away with dignity. Protecting your energy also means protecting your focus. The human brain cannot concentrate on deep work if it is constantly scattered by shallow talk. If you spend your morning in meaningless conversations, by the time you sit down to do real work, your focus has already been spent. That is why so many people feel unmotivated even when they have time. Their energy was burned in conversations that gave them nothing in return. One powerful habit you can build is to ask yourself a simple question during conversations. Is this helping me or draining me? If it is helping, stay engaged. If it is draining, exit politely. At first you may feel uncomfortable walking away or redirecting discussions, but with practice, it becomes natural. People will begin to respect your time because they realize you do not tolerate waste. This does not mean you become cold or antisocial. It means you choose quality over quantity. You can still connect with people deeply, but the connection should be built on meaningful exchange. Talking about dreams, sharing lessons, planning solutions, encouraging growth, these are conversations worth having. What you avoid are the endless cycles of negativity, distraction, and shallow entertainment that lead nowhere. Think about the most successful people you know. They do not spend hours talking about others. They do not waste evenings in pointless debates. They choose conversations carefully. Often, they spend more time listening than speaking, because listening allows them to gather knowledge without wasting energy. When they speak, it is intentional and impactful. Their words matter because they don't throw them into every meaningless exchange. There is also a connection between meaningless conversations and procrastination. Many people hide from their responsibilities by filling their day with chatter. Talking about problems feels easier than solving them. Discussing dreams feels easier than working toward them. This illusion of activity keeps them stuck. Successful people break this cycle by reducing unnecessary talk and putting that time into direct action. Notice how freeing it feels when you limit these conversations. Suddenly, you have more energy at the end of the day. You feel less emotionally heavy. You find more time to work on your goals, to study, to rest, to create. You begin to attract people who also value meaningful communication, and your circle improves. Protecting your energy creates a ripple effect across your entire life. The discipline of avoiding meaningless conversations also builds self-respect. Every time you walk away from gossip or negativity, you prove to yourself that your time is valuable. Every time you choose silence over pointless chatter,
You strengthen your self-control. Every time you engage only in meaningful talk, you align your life with growth. Over time, this habit transforms you into someone people admire for their focus and strength. It is not always easy. There will be pressure to join in. People will try to pull you into their complaints or drama. They may even criticize you for being quiet. But remember this, their need for meaningless talk is not your obligation. You are responsible for your energy. You must guard it if you want to achieve success. You can practice this starting today. Notice the next time someone begins gossiping. Instead of joining, shift the topic, or stay silent. Notice when a conversation repeats the same old complaints. Instead of giving the same replies, excuse yourself and move on. Notice when you are tempted to waste time in chatter instead of focusing. Redirect that energy into something productive. These small acts, repeated daily, build a powerful habit of energy protection. Over time, this silent habit will separate you from the average. While others drain themselves talking about things that don't matter, you will use your energy to build, to create, to grow. Your life will begin to look different. You will have more progress, more peace, and more strength. People may not understand at first, but eventually, they will notice the difference in your results. Every minute of your life is valuable. Every unit of energy is an investment. Spend it wisely. If you waste it on meaningless conversations, you rob yourself of the energy needed to achieve your goals. But if you protect it and put it into meaningful action, you will build a life of depth and success. The truth is, the conversations you choose reveal the future you are creating. If you spend your days in shallow talk, your future will be shallow. If you spend them in meaningful dialogue and focused work, your future will be strong. This is why highly successful people take this habit so seriously. They know that every conversation either builds or drains, and they choose to build. Start now. Save your energy. Avoid meaningless conversations daily. Fill your time with value. Protect your focus like it is gold. Use your words for growth, your energy for progress, and your mind for building the future you want. This silent habit will give you clarity, strength, and momentum, and it will lead you step by step to success that does not fade.
Chapter 5. Keep your financial progress private while building real security. Money is one of the most sensitive areas of life. It affects how you live, how secure you feel, and how much freedom you have. But one of the biggest mistakes people make is turning their financial progress into a public show. They announce every purchase, they display every upgrade, and they talk constantly about what they are earning. This may feel satisfying in the moment, but it creates unnecessary pressure and often attracts the wrong kind of attention. Highly successful people take the opposite path. They keep their financial progress private while focusing on building real security. Their goal is not to impress anyone, it is to create a foundation that lasts. When you share too much about your financial progress, you expose yourself to judgment. Some people will envy you, some will criticize you, and others will compete with you. None of this helps your growth. Instead of focusing on your own plans, you end up managing other people's opinions. That is wasted energy. Privacy protects you from this trap. By keeping quiet, you stay focused on what matters. Building savings, reducing debt, investing wisely, and strengthening your financial base. There is also a psychological danger in broadcasting your financial progress. When you show off your money, you feed your ego. You may start making decisions for appearance rather than for stability. You may buy things to impress rather than to build security. This creates a cycle where you are no longer in control of your finances. Your need for recognition is successful people cut this cycle by refusing to use money as a tool for attention. They use it as a tool for freedom and growth. Think of how calm your life becomes when you do not feel the need to prove anything. You don't have to buy a new car because your friend did. You don't have to show your salary because someone else asked. You don't have to announce your investments just to feel validated. Instead, you quietly make decisions that strengthen your future. The reward is not applause but peace of mind. Building real financial security requires discipline.
It means saving consistently even when nobody notices. It means saying no to unnecessary expenses, even when others are indulging. It means investing carefully and patiently, without rushing to brag about it. These choices are often invisible to the outside world, but over years, they create the strongest foundation. While others are chasing attention, you are building stability. Privacy also keeps you safe. The more people know about your finances, the more vulnerable you become. You may attract people who want to use you, borrow from you, or compete with you. You may even create tension in relationships, where money becomes the center of comparison. By keeping your progress private, you protect yourself from unnecessary stress. Your finances remain your personal responsibility, not a public topic. There is a powerful sense of strength in knowing your financial life is in order, while the world has no idea. You wake up with confidence, because you know you are secure, not because others think you are. You walk through life with calmness because you don't have to keep up with anyone's expectations. That quiet confidence is what separates people who build real wealth from those who only display it. Consider the long-term difference. The person who spends to show off may look successful today, but will struggle tomorrow. The person who saves quietly, invests patiently, and lives below their means may look ordinary today, but will live with freedom tomorrow. The difference lies in where the focus is placed. One lives for recognition. The other lives for security. If you want to live by this habit, start by making money decisions for yourself, not for others. Ask yourself, will this purchase strengthen my future or weaken it? Will this decision bring me peace or add stress? Do I need this, or do I just want to be seen having it? These questions guide you toward wiser choices. Also, stop feeling the need to explain your financial journey. You don't have to tell people how much you make or how much you save. You don't have to justify why you spend less or why you invest differently. Your progress is yours. Protect it by keeping it private. This habit also helps you avoid comparison. When you don't announce your finances, you don't invite comparisons with others. Comparison is a silent thief of peace. If you focus on what someone else earns or spends, you lose sight of your own path. By keeping your financial life private, you free yourself from that distraction. You stay focused on your own numbers, your own goals, your own growth. Building real security is not glamorous, it is quiet. It is about budgeting carefully, cutting unnecessary costs, building an emergency fund, and steadily investing. It is about protecting yourself from future risks, rather than showing off today. It may not get likes or applause, but it gives you something far better. Stability. And stability is the foundation of freedom. Think about the emotional comfort that comes from having real security. Imagine knowing that if an emergency comes, you are covered. Imagine knowing that if you lose a job, you can still stand on your feet. Imagine waking up every day, not stressed about bills, but confident in your choices. That is the peace successful people aim for. And they achieve it by building quietly, not by showing loudly. This is not about hiding in fear. It is about protecting what you build. You don't hide your financial progress because you are ashamed. You keep it private because you are wise. You know that true success does not need to be broadcast. It shows itself in how you live, in the options you have, in the freedom you feel. Every dollar you save is a brick in your foundation. Every smart investment is a seed for your future. Every quiet choice you make strengthens the walls of your security. Do this long enough, and your life becomes unshakable. No applause needed, no recognition required, just the satisfaction of knowing you are in control. Your financial life is one of the clearest reflections of your discipline. If you want long-term success, commit to building it privately. Avoid the urge to show off. Focus on stability, growth, and freedom. Over time, the results will speak for themselves. You will not need to announce them, because they will show in the quality of your life. So protect your energy, your progress, and your peace. Keep your financial journey private. Let your success be measured, not by what others see, but by the security you feel inside. Build quietly, save consistently, invest wisely, and live with calm strength. That is how highly successful people create lasting wealth. And that is how you can create a future that is strong, free, and truly your own.
Chapter 6. Strengthen discipline by doing hard tasks without public sharing. Discipline is the backbone of success, and one of the strongest ways to build it is by quietly doing the hard tasks without feeling the need to announce them to the world. In today's environment, many people want recognition for every step they take. They post their workouts online, they share every small project, and they talk endlessly about their goals instead of silently putting in the work. That habit weakens discipline because it shifts focus from the task itself to the approval of others. True discipline grows when you take on difficult work and finish it without needing public validation. Think about the hard tasks in your life. They are usually the ones you resist, the ones you try to delay, the ones that require extra effort. Waking up early to work on a project, practicing skills when others are relaxing, saving money instead of spending it, pushing through physical training when your body feels tired. These are the tasks that separate achievers from dreamers. When you complete them quietly, you build a deep inner strength. You prove to yourself that you can handle discomfort, that you can stay consistent, that you can keep promises to yourself even if no one is watching. Doing hard tasks in silence is powerful because it removes the temptation of external applause. If you only work hard when people notice, then your discipline is shallow. It exists only as long as the spotlight shines. But when you grind through difficult work alone with no audience and no reward, you forge real character. You become the kind of person who does not depend on attention to stay committed. That is rare. That is powerful. You can feel the difference inside. When you quietly complete a hard tasks, there is a private sense of satisfaction that no public recognition can match. It is not loud, but it is strong. You know you did the right thing. You know you honored your commitment. You know you built strength when no one else cared. That quiet victory stays with you and pushes you to do more. People who chase attention for every task often burn out. They spend energy showing their work rather than doing their work. They become addicted to recognition, and when it stops coming, so does their effort. Successful people avoid this trap by staying focused on the process. They understand that discipline is not about performance for others, it is about mastery of self. There is also psychology at play here. When you share every task publicly, you may receive early praise. That praise can trick your brain into feeling as if you have already achieved something, even though the real work is not finished. As a result, motivation drops. But when you keep your effort private, your brain stays hungry. You know you cannot celebrate until results are real. That hunger fuels consistency. Imagine this. You wake up early to study while everyone else sleeps. No one knows. No one claps, no one cares. But day after day you accumulate knowledge. Months later your performance at work improves dramatically. People are surprised, but you are not. You know the hours you invested quietly built this growth. That is the power of silent hard work. Discipline also grows stronger when you learn to enjoy the grind itself. If you always need an audience, the grind feels empty. But when you learn to respect the quiet process, you begin to see beauty in repetition. You find pride in finishing tasks no one noticed. You start valuing your own standards more than external recognition. That inner respect is the foundation of discipline. Another benefit of doing hard tasks privately is that it reduces unnecessary pressure. When you announce every challenge you take on, you invite people's opinions. Some may doubt you, some may discourage you, and some may mock you if you struggle. This creates stress that can weaken your focus. But when you keep your efforts private, you remove that noise. You give yourself space to fail, to learn, and to adjust without outside judgment. This safe space is where discipline thrives. You can begin practicing this habit today. Choose one hard task that you usually avoid and complete it without telling anyone. It could be finishing an assignment, working out, waking up early, or saving a specific amount of money. Do it quietly. Don't post about it, don't announce it, don't explain it, just notice how it feels afterward. That private sense of accomplishment will fuel you more than any applause. Over time, if you repeat this practice, your discipline will grow stronger.
You will become someone who doesn't need to be reminded. You will not need cheerleaders to push you forward. You will push yourself because you have built the habit of completing hard tasks on your own. That kind of discipline is unshakable. In life, the most successful people are not always the loudest. They are often the ones who stayed quiet and consistent while everyone else was distracted. They were building while others were talking. They were practicing while others were resting. They were strengthening themselves in silence. By the time the world noticed, their foundation was already unbreakable. Ask yourself this: are you doing hard tasks for growth or for attention? If it's for attention, you will stop when the attention fades. If it's for growth, you will continue no matter what. Highly disciplined people always choose growth. They do not announce every detail, but their results eventually show, and when the results come, they are undeniable. This silent approach to discipline also protects your motivation. Many people burn through motivation quickly because they use it all in showing off progress. They share the start of a journey loudly, but when it gets hard, they disappear. Silent workers don't face this problem. They conserve energy by staying focused inward. They let the discipline itself feed their drive. You also develop resilience this way. Hard tasks are often uncomfortable and full of setbacks. If your effort depends on public support, setbacks will discourage you more. But if your effort is private, you handle setbacks with patience. You adjust, you learn, and you keep moving forward without worrying about who is watching. This builds mental toughness that lasts. The best part of this habit is how it shapes your identity. Each time you do a difficult task without sharing it, you reinforce the idea that you are disciplined, reliable, and strong. That identity becomes part of you. Over time, you no longer have to force yourself. It becomes natural to face hard work quietly. Your discipline becomes a lifestyle. You don't need to prove discipline to anyone. It is not a performance, it is a practice. The real proof is in your results, not your announcements. Every successful person you admire has put in countless hours of hard, silent work. You may only see the outcome, but behind it is a mountain of tasks they did when no one was watching. So commit to this. Do the hard tasks. Do them without fanfare, without validation, without posting, without explaining. Just finish them. Each quiet victory will strengthen your discipline. Each step completed will make you stronger. And over time your results will shine brighter than any words ever could. This is how you grow discipline into something unshakable. Not by announcing your struggles, but by embracing them private. Not by seeking attention, but by staying committed when no one is watching. That is the silent habit of highly successful people. And if you practice it daily, you will join their ranks.
Chapter 7. Protect your personal life details from unnecessary attention always. One of the most overlooked habits of highly successful people is how carefully they guard the details of their personal life. In a world where many people feel the need to share everything, what they do, where they go, who they meet, and even their private struggles, those who reach the highest levels of success choose the opposite. They practice discretion. They know that not everything needs to be public. They understand that the more you reveal about your private world, the more vulnerable you become to unnecessary judgment, distraction, and even harm. Protecting your personal life is not about hiding in fear. It is about choosing wisely what deserves attention and what deserves silence. When you make your personal life too visible, you invite outside noise into areas that should be sacred. People begin to have opinions about your relationships, your choices, your family, and your routines. They may criticize, gossip, or even interfere. This drains your energy and distracts you from your goals. By keeping details private, you avoid unnecessary attention and preserve your peace. Your mind stays clear, your emotions stay balanced, and your focus stays sharp. Think about how quickly information spreads today. A single conversation, a social media post, or even a casual remark can be repeated, exaggerated, and used against you. Something that should remain personal becomes a topic for discussion. And once it is out there, you cannot take it back. Successful people are fully aware of this reality, which is why they carefully filter what they share. They choose to let their results speak louder than their personal details.
Privacy also builds strength in relationships. The more people know about the private conflicts in your family, your friendships, or your partnerships, the weaker those bonds become. Outsiders add their opinions, often making situations worse. By keeping your personal life private, you protect the people closest to you. You give your relationships the safety they need to grow without interference. There is also a psychological benefit in guarding your personal life. When you keep private matters to yourself, you maintain control over your narrative. You don't feel the pressure to defend or justify your choices. You don't waste energy explaining yourself to people who may not understand. Instead, you live according to your own values and focus on what truly matters. This gives you a sense of calm confidence. You may have experienced situations where oversharing backfired. Maybe you confided in someone who later used that information against you. Maybe you shared a private success too soon, and it attracted envy. Maybe you revealed a struggle and received judgment instead of support. These experiences are painful, but they teach an important lesson. Not everyone deserves access to your personal details. Successful people learn this lesson early and apply it consistently. Protecting your personal life does not mean isolating yourself. It means setting boundaries. You can still connect deeply with the right people, but you choose carefully who you let into your inner world. You don't make your private matters available for public consumption. Instead, you share only with those who have earned your trust. Boundaries are powerful because they keep your energy intact. Without them, people can pull you in different directions. With them, you remain steady. If you share too much, you lose control over how people see you. But if you share selectively, you stay in control of your identity. You decide what others know and what they don't. That freedom is priceless. Highly successful people know that unnecessary attention can be dangerous. Some people use personal details to exploit, manipulate, or compete. Others simply waste your time with curiosity and gossip. When you keep your life private, you eliminate these risks. You protect yourself from distractions and focus on what truly builds your future. There is another hidden advantage of privacy. It gives you space to grow without pressure. When too many people know your every move, you feel watched. That constant attention can create stress and even push you to make choices for appearances rather than for growth. But when you keep things private, you are free to make mistakes, to experiment, to adjust your path without anyone interfering. Privacy gives you room to breathe and to evolve at your own pace. Think of how much more peace you feel when you don't have to update anyone on your personal matters. You don't owe anyone explanations. You don't need to defend your decisions. You don't feel guilty for keeping things to yourself. You are not cold or secretive. You are wise. You know your personal life is your foundation, and you choose to protect it. This habit also helps you build respect. People admire those who maintain dignity and discretion. When you are not constantly sharing private details, you appear stronger and more grounded. Others see you as someone who values integrity. They trust you more because they know you are not careless with information. That respect becomes an asset in your personal and professional life. If you want to build this habit, start by asking yourself a simple question before sharing. Does this need to be said, or is it better kept private? Most of the time, the answer is silence. Not every joy needs to be broadcast. Not every struggle needs to be announced. Not every opinion needs to be shared. Choose to keep what matters most within your circle of trust. You can practice this by limiting what you share on social platforms. Do not make your relationships a topic for the world. Do not announce every financial decision. Do not expose your family problems to strangers. Instead, use those platforms for learning, inspiration, or business. But keep your private life out of it. That simple choice will protect you from endless complications. Also, notice the conversations you have daily. Do you reveal more than necessary? Do you explain details to people who don't need to know them? Start holding back. Speak less about your personal matters and more about ideas, growth, and solutions. This change will instantly lift your energy and keep your life simpler. Over time, the discipline of protecting your personal life becomes natural. You will no longer feel the urge to explain everything. You will stop looking for validation through exposure. You will carry yourself with calmness, knowing you don't owe anyone a window into your private world. That confidence is quiet, but it is powerful. Life becomes easier when you realize you don't need unnecessary attention. Attention fades, opinions change. People move on. But your peace, your family, your health, your goals, these are too important to risk for momentary recognition. Guard them, protect them. Keep them private. There is a saying that privacy is power, but in truth, privacy is also freedom. Freedom from judgment, from gossip, from envy, from pressure. By protecting your personal life, you give yourself that freedom, and with that freedom, you can focus fully on building a strong and meaningful future. So take this habit seriously. Protect your personal life details from unnecessary attention, always. Do not expose what is sacred. Do not let outsiders invade your peace. Build your future quietly. Live with strength, and let your results speak for themselves. This silent discipline will give you stability, respect, and security. And in time it will prove to be one of the smartest choices you ever made.
Chapter 8. Stay calm in conflicts and let silence speak louder. Conflict is something every person faces in life. It may come from disagreements in the workplace, tension at home, or even casual encounters with strangers. Most people react to conflict with anger, defensiveness, or loud arguments. They feel the need to raise their voice, to prove their point, or to win the battle of words. Yet, the ones who rise higher, the ones who are respected, the ones who remain steady, are those who stay calm when conflict arises and allow silence to carry their strength. This is not weakness. It is one of the most powerful habits highly successful people practice every single day. When conflict erupts, emotions run hot. The body reacts with tension, the voice rises, and the heart beats faster. In those moments, the urge to respond quickly is strong, but quick reactions are often careless. They escalate the problem instead of solving it. By choosing calmness, you create space. That space allows you to think clearly, to measure your words, and to avoid damage that anger often causes. Calmness is not about ignoring conflict. It is about handling it with clarity instead of chaos. Silence has its own kind of power. In conflict, people expect noise, they expect reaction, they expect resistance. When you choose silence instead of shouting, you disarm the situation. Silence creates discomfort for those who feed on drama. They cannot fight if you do not swing back. In that silence, you also protect your dignity. You do not give away your control by lowering yourself into arguments that lead nowhere. You remain steady while others waste their energy. Think of the last time you argued and later regretted your words. In the heat of the moment, you probably said things you did not mean, things that caused more damage than the conflict itself. This happens because emotion overtakes reason. But when you practice silence in conflict, you give yourself time to filter those emotions. You allow your reason to lead instead of your temper. This habit reduces regret, protects relationships, and preserves your peace. Highly successful people know that not every battle is worth fighting. Some conflicts are traps, designed to steal your focus and energy. By remaining calm and silent, you refuse to waste yourself on battles that don't matter. You save your energy for things that actually shape your future. Every loud argument avoided is time and strength gained for meaningful progress. There is also deep psychology here. Silence in conflict signals strength, not weakness. It shows that you are not controlled by the noise around you. It demonstrates patience, self-respect, and discipline. Others notice this. They may not admit it, but they respect the person who does not lose control under pressure. Over time, this reputation builds trust and authority. People look at you as someone dependable, someone who can handle challenges without crumbling. Staying calm in conflict also protects your health. Anger, shouting, and heated exchanges release stress hormones that strain the body. They affect your heart, your sleep, and your overall well-being. But when you remain calm, you avoid that internal chaos. You breathe easier, think clearer, and recover faster. Silence becomes a medicine that shields you from the harm of conflict. You can begin practicing this habit in small ways. When someone tries to provoke you with harsh words, resist the urge to reply immediately.
Pause, breathe, remind yourself that silence can be stronger than reaction. When someone raises their voice, keep yours steady. When someone accuses you unfairly, listen instead of rushing to defend. These moments may feel uncomfortable at first, but each one strengthens your ability to remain calm. Over time, it becomes second nature. This does not mean you never speak in conflict. It means you choose the right moment. Instead of arguing in the heat of anger, you wait until emotions settle. You speak only when your words can bring clarity or resolution, not when they add fuel. In many cases, silence alone resolves the conflict. When the other person realizes you are not engaging in the chaos, they often calm down too. Think of leaders who have earned respect in history or business. They were not the loudest in the room. They were the ones who stayed calm under pressure. Their silence was not emptiness, it was presence. They chose their words carefully, and people listened because they did not waste them. This same principle applies in your life. If you speak less in conflict, your words carry more weight when you finally choose to use them. Another reason silence works is because it prevents you from revealing too much. In conflict, people often expose their weaknesses by talking too much. They explain, defend, or justify endlessly. The more they speak, the more ground they lose. But when you remain silent, you keep your strength hidden. You do not give the other person more to use against you. You maintain control of your side. This habit also trains humility. Staying calm and silent means you don't always need to prove yourself right. You don't always need the last word. You learn to let go of ego for the sake of peace. That humility does not weaken you, it frees you. It keeps you from wasting time on battles that serve no purpose. It reminds you that winning every argument is not the goal. Building a better life is. In your daily life, notice the types of conflicts that arise. Many of them are small. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Someone disagrees about a minor issue. Someone criticizes without understanding. Most of these conflicts are not worth your energy. By staying calm and silent, you rise above them. You keep your focus on what truly matters, and you don't let small interruptions control your day. Even in larger conflicts, silence gives you the advantage of observation. While others argue, you watch, you see patterns, you notice weaknesses, you gather information. This knowledge helps you make better decisions later. While they are distracted by fighting, you are preparing solutions. That is the difference between those who waste time in conflict and those who grow from it. Over time, this habit reshapes your character. You no longer react to every provocation. You no longer feel the need to fight every battle. You develop inner calm that cannot be easily disturbed. People notice this shift. They begin to approach you differently. They treat you with more care because they see that you are not easily moved. That presence alone can resolve conflicts before they even begin. The world is full of conflict, and it is easy to get lost in the noise, but you don't have to live that way. You can choose calmness. You can let silence do the work. You can show strength, not by shouting, but by holding steady when others cannot. That choice will protect your peace, preserve your energy, and build respect that lasts a lifetime. So when conflict comes, and it will remember this silent habit, stay calm, hold your ground. Let silence speak louder than your anger ever could. That calmness is not weakness. It is mastery. It is the mark of someone who understands that conflict is temporary, but dignity is forever. This is how highly successful people move through life, with control, with patience, and with the quiet power of silence.
Chapter 9. Track your growth privately without posting every achievement online. Growth is one of the most personal journeys you will ever take, and yet too many people treat it like a performance. Every time they achieve something small, they rush to announce it. They post every step online. They share every little milestone, and they seek constant validation from others. But the truth is, growth loses its power when it is constantly displayed for attention. The people who build lasting success are those who track their progress privately. They measure themselves against yesterday, not against the reactions of strangers. They let their results become visible over time, without needing to broadcast every detail. When you post every achievement online, you risk shifting your focus away from improvement and toward approval. Instead of asking yourself, am I truly getting better? You begin to ask, how many people noticed what I did? That shift is dangerous.
It makes your growth dependent on likes, comments, and applause rather than on real progress. Over time it can weaken your drive, because your motivation comes from outside instead of from within. Successful people know this, which is why they keep their growth private. They do not need a digital audience to confirm their direction. They know the value of their work without displaying it. Tracking growth privately also builds honesty. When no one else is watching, you have no reason to exaggerate or perform. You face your results as they are. If you missed a goal, you admit it to yourself. If you improved slightly, you record it honestly. This raw truth is what fuels real growth. Public posting often tempts people to make progress look larger than it really is. They dress it up for attention, but deep down they know the reality is different. By keeping your tracking private, you remove that temptation and deal only with facts. Another important reason to keep growth private is protection. Not everyone who sees your progress will cheer for you. Some may envy you. Some may criticize. Some may quietly hope you fail. When you share too much, you invite these energies into your journey. They may not stop you directly, but they add unnecessary noise. Silence protects you. Privacy keeps your focus pure. It allows you to grow without interference. You can feel the difference between growth tracked privately and growth displayed publicly. When you write down your progress in a notebook, review your goals quietly, or reflect on your habits at night, it feels steady and grounded. You are doing it for yourself, not for anyone else. When you post online and wait for reactions, you feel restless until someone approves. Your energy shifts from building to waiting. That restlessness can drain your drive. Successful people are disciplined about this. They may have private journals where they track their goals. They may keep spreadsheets of their financial progress, fitness progress, or personal development goals. They review them consistently, but they don't share them publicly until the results are undeniable. This quiet review builds discipline and focus. It allows them to adjust strategies without pressure, and it gives them the freedom to grow at their own pace. Another danger of posting every achievement online is that it creates pressure to maintain appearances. Once you share your progress, people expect you to keep producing results. If you slow down, they notice. If you fail, they judge. This pressure can make you anxious and even push you to fake results. Growth should be about truth, not appearances. By tracking privately, you escape that trap. You grow without needing to prove anything to anyone. Privacy also sharpens self-reliance. When you depend on your own tracking rather than on online approval, you learn to motivate yourself. You learn to celebrate quietly. You learn to push forward because you value progress, not because someone clapped for you. This self-reliance makes you stronger because your progress no longer depends on external noise. Think of how powerful it feels when you look back at your private notes after a year. You see where you started, how far you've come, and the work you put in. No one else may know the details, but you do. That private knowledge creates deep confidence. It tells you that you can trust yourself, that you can rely on your own consistency, that you don't need the world's approval to validate your journey. That confidence lasts longer than any applause. Growth is also deeply personal. Your goals are not the same as everyone else's. Your pace is not the same as everyone else's. When you post online, you invite comparison. You measure yourself against others, and others measure themselves against you. This creates distraction and insecurity. But when you keep your progress private, you stay focused on your unique path. You measure only against yourself. That is the only fair comparison. There is also wisdom in letting your results reveal themselves naturally. If you have been working on your health, people will notice eventually without you announcing it. If you have been growing financially, your stability will show. If you have been improving your skills, your performance will prove it. Real progress does not need marketing. It makes itself known. And when it does, it carries more weight than any post or announcement could. Tracking privately also makes you more consistent. Public posting can create bursts of effort. You work hard for a short time to show progress. Then slow down once you've shared it. Private tracking builds long-term consistency. You are not performing for anyone. You are simply showing up for yourself, day after day. That kind of consistency creates lasting results. This habit builds humility as well. When you don't announce every win, you learn to value progress for its own sake. You learn that improvement is the reward. You do not need recognition to keep going. That humility keeps you grounded, even as you achieve more. It prevents arrogance and keeps your focus on the work, not on the applause. Another benefit of private tracking is the clarity it brings. Public posting often turns into a mix of performance and distraction. You may spend more time editing posts than actually reviewing your progress, but private tracking is clean. You sit down with your goals, your numbers, your actions. You reflect honestly. You see clearly what is working and what is not. This clarity allows you to adjust faster and smarter. If you want to practice this habit, start by creating a private system. It could be a notebook, a journal, or a digital file. Write down your goals clearly. Record your progress daily or weekly. Review it consistently. Celebrate your wins quietly and adjust where you fall short. Keep this system for yourself. Resist the urge to broadcast it. Over time, it will become one of your strongest tools for growth. Imagine how much more peaceful your life becomes when you no longer feel pressured to share everything. You wake up, do the work, track your progress, and keep moving. No distractions, no comparisons, no unnecessary attention. Just you and your journey. That quiet consistency will take you further than any loud announcement. At the end of the day, growth is about becoming better than you were yesterday. It is not about proving anything to others. It is about building a stronger you, step by step, day by day. By keeping your progress private, you preserve the purity of that journey. You protect it from envy, from judgment, from noise, and you allow it to grow naturally, steadily, and powerfully. So take this silent habit seriously. Track your growth privately. Let your progress be your own. Stop seeking applause for every small step. Build discipline, humility, and self-reliance by keeping your achievements off the stage. When the time is right, your results will speak for themselves, louder and clearer than any post ever could. That is how highly successful people grow. Quietly, steadily, privately, and powerfully.
Chapter 10. Practice patience daily by waiting longer for bigger rewards. Patience is one of the rarest qualities in a world that runs on speed. People want everything instantly, instant recognition, instant money, instant success, instant results. Yet, if you look closely at the people who build lives of true achievement, you will notice something different. They are willing to wait. They are willing to plant seeds, water them, and give them time to grow. They practice patience daily because they understand that bigger rewards require longer timelines. They are not distracted by quick wins that fade fast. They keep their eyes on what matters most, and they train themselves to hold steady until the right moment arrives. Every day you face a choice: take the shortcut for a small return, or stay disciplined for a bigger outcome later. Most people grab the shortcut. They spend money instead of saving it. They eat for comfort instead of health. They quit at the first sign of struggle instead of finishing. They want the satisfaction of now rather than the strength of later. But here is the truth. Every shortcut comes with a hidden cost. Quick rewards often disappear as fast as they come, and sometimes they leave you worse off than before. The quiet discipline of patience, on the other hand, multiplies your results. It teaches you to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term gain. That is where the real power lies. You can see this clearly in finances. A person who spends every extra dollar feels good in the moment, but later struggles with stress and insecurity. Another person who saves, invests, and waits patiently may feel slower progress at first, but years later, they stand on a foundation of wealth and stability. The difference is not intelligence, it is patience. One needed quick gratification, the other trusted time to multiply their effort. The same principle applies to health. Skipping workouts feels good in the moment. Eating unhealthy food feels rewarding in the moment. But later, the body pays the price. On the other side, practicing patience by showing up consistently, eating better, exercising daily, even when results are invisible at first, leads to strength, energy, and longevity. Success in health, like success in wealth, comes to those who can wait longer for bigger rewards. Relationships also thrive on patience. Trust is not built overnight. It grows slowly through consistent actions and time. If you rush it, you damage it.
If you allow it to grow naturally, it becomes unshakable. People who practice patience daily understand this. They don't demand loyalty instantly. They don't expect perfect harmony right away. They give space, they wait, and they allow the bond to strengthen with time. That patience creates relationships that last. Practicing patience also shapes your character. It teaches you self-control. It teaches you how to manage emotions, how to resist urges, how to stay steady when things don't happen on your schedule. That training builds resilience. It makes you stronger inside because you no longer break down when life doesn't move fast enough. You learn that delay is not denial, it is often preparation. What is growing quietly now will show itself later, but only if you wait long enough. The habit of patience must be built daily, not occasionally. You cannot expect to suddenly become patient in big situations if you are impatient in small ones. You train yourself in little moments, waiting in line without frustration, listening fully before responding, delaying a purchase until it truly makes sense, finishing a task carefully instead of rushing through it. These small acts of patience build the muscle you need for bigger challenges. Over time, you will notice yourself becoming calmer, more focused, and more capable of waiting for results that others abandon too soon. The psychology of patience is fascinating. The human brain craves quick pleasure. That's why distractions are everywhere. Fast entertainment, fast food, fast spending. But the same brain can be trained. Each time you resist a quick temptation, you rewire your mind to value long-term gain. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but with repetition, it becomes natural. Successful people train their brains this way. They know the rush of instant rewards is nothing compared to the deep satisfaction of bigger victories. Think of people who give up too soon. They start a project, but when success doesn't arrive quickly, they quit. They plant seeds, but before they sprout, they abandon the soil. They start learning a skill, but when it takes longer than expected, they move on to something easier. This pattern keeps them stuck. They never see the rewards because they never wait long enough. The disciplined ones, however, stay. They endure the quiet phase, the slow phase, the invisible phase, and eventually, they harvest what others never reached. Patience is not passive. It is not about doing nothing. It is about working steadily, staying consistent, and trusting time to do its part. While you wait for results, you keep improving. You keep showing up, you keep preparing. Patience does not mean sitting still. It means continuing the process without needing instant proof. That balance of effort and waiting is where real success is built. You may feel the pressure of seeing others move faster. Maybe someone else is earning more right now, achieving more right now, or receiving more recognition right now. It is tempting to compare. But remember, what comes quickly often goes quickly. If you want bigger rewards, you must outlast the rush. You must build something steady, something durable, something that grows stronger with time. This cannot be done in a hurry. One of the greatest benefits of patience is peace. Impatience breeds anxiety. You feel restless, unsettled, constantly checking for results. But patience gives you calmness. You trust your process, you trust your preparation. You know that results will come at the right time if you keep doing the right work. This peace makes your journey less stressful and more sustainable. You can practice patience by setting long-term goals and breaking them into small steps. Focus on the step in front of you, not the whole mountain. Celebrate progress privately, and remind yourself that real change takes time. Resist the urge to announce or demand results too early. Simply keep moving, one day at a time. When frustration rises, breathe and remember why you started. That awareness will carry you forward. Over years, patience compounds like interest. The longer you wait while doing the right things, the bigger the reward grows. It applies to your finances, your health, your relationships, your career and your personal growth. Those who can wait longer, while working consistently, always build stronger lives. This is why highly successful people practice patience daily. They train themselves not to be rushed by the world. They resist the pull of instant gratification. They commit to long-term effort, knowing the reward is worth the wait. They may not have results today, but they know results are coming, and that faith keeps them steady. The truth is, the greatest rewards in life are not quick. They require time, dedication, and consistency. If you are willing to practice patience every single day, you set yourself apart. While others quit too soon, you will still be While others settle for small gains, you will build something bigger. While others chase noise, you will create depth. So remind yourself each day, don't rush the process. Don't settle for quick satisfaction. Build the habit of patience in every area of life. Train yourself to wait longer, to endure longer, to trust longer. Keep working quietly, keep improving steadily, and let time do its part. The bigger rewards are waiting, but only for